Thank you. Documentarian. Amazon rainforest. Somewhere on the border between Brazil and Bolivia, a group of illegal loggers had begun to explore what they called virgin jungle. There, they were supposed to find good trees with quality wood, which they would later sell to obtain the much desired monetary value from that small clandestine business. Knowing that the law in these countries protects the area against this kind of practice, the loggers were all willing to take the risk. Well, the story begins when Miguel Alcántar found what seemed to him to be the right place to carry out his plans. 4 loggers joined Miguel Alcántar to carry out a project that aimed to cut down more than 50 trees. However, the unexpected and terrifying thing that was about to happen to them would completely change their plans. Miguel Alcántar stood in front of an imposing and beautiful leafy tree, so strong and majestic. Miguel took his axe, planted his feet firmly on the ground, and delivered the first blow. The earth trembled. It was as if the tree were part of an entire organism that had just been mutilated somewhere, and that tremor was a reaction. Because of Miguel's axe blow, everyone stopped working. They looked at each other in astonishment, and one of them even drew the weapon he carried in his bag. Everything fell silent. The nervousness was palpable, and yet Miguel with his strong hands raised his cutting tool again, and the earth trembled again. What the hell was going on? What was that strange event about? Ideas began to invade their minds. An overwhelming fear trapped them in that piece of untouched jungle. And suddenly, as if it were a race, everyone ran toward the camp, where there were more men with vehicles capable of getting them out of that cursed and haunted place. But it was all in vain. The jungle, with its bushes, roots, and vines, began to block their way, little by little, preventing them from getting out of there. In no time, they were all trapped and tangled among the weeds and roots that were coming loose. A kind of white substance burned their eyes and blinded them to the point that moving their eyelids was impossible. However, Miguel and another man whose name we don't know were lucky enough to get trapped in a small clearing, where there was only a big old tree, sad and with few leaves, as if forgotten by time. Evening came. Miguel and his companion were preparing a campfire since night was approaching, but when it finally arrived and they managed to light the fire, the old tree with the few leaves it had left began to creak. Suddenly, a light of its own emanated from that majestic being. Leaves began to grow from its crown down to its first branches. It was like a light show that only those 2 men were witnessing. Miguel Alcántar says he doesn't know if that event was a natural occurrence or if that tree was some kind of new form of life. Who knows? After seeing that, both of them were astonished, and that's the last thing he remembers. The next day, Miguel and his companion woke up on a Bolivian road. They were questioned by the local authorities. The rest of the men are still missing. The camp was swallowed by the jungle in the old tree. It's a complete mystery. As of today, Miguel has lost contact with his companion. He never saw him again. But he hopes that, like him, he will find his way and stop doing things outside the law. What could have happened in that Amazon jungle? Is it possible that Mother Nature is giving us a lesson? If you want to read the full story, go to the website of the Bolivian City Hall of Ascension, where you can see more details about this fascinating event. I am the Documentarian, and this was the spirit of the tree. Special greetings to Moby V, 6 obsessive compulsive disorder from Wales, from Yarsa Tobias, Gonzevate, Fernandroid Barajas, Patricia Dara Trasanov, Cesc Márquez, Ayoros de Sagitario, Dana Rodríguez, Ben 10, Noé Hernández, Ana Telles, Las Locuras de Racte, Luisa Mangonés, Sure Mantela, Ernesto Testa Fernández, Fatimitas 23, Diego Nava Chabelas, DK Warrior y TPWP. Arlet Galindo, Max Lenin, Arturo Martínez Solís, Mocosito Rodríguez, Omar Hernández Martínez, Elsa Gamer Foreign, Gabriela Martínez. And until next time,